all the people of God said amen. Amen. It's just good to be alive. A lot of folks started this week out. They didn't make it. But God blessed us, and we are sure enough glad that He did. Not because we are so good, but because He is so good. We need to be in prayer for Brother Jones. He is still recovering from his brief illness, and we're praying that it's a brief illness. And Sister Jones is at the hospital with him. We have others that are traveling. Be praying for those individuals. But it's good to see those of us that are here. We've been dealing with, good that Sister Ferris has a guest. Give her some love. Give her some love. We've been dealing with the high cost of success. And we started in 1 Samuel 18, talking about David did everything David did was successful. And so we started to talk about the fact that there's a high cost of success. And we talked about the fact that you have to know the difference between cost and price. The price of the car is not the cost of the car. The price of a house is not the cost of the house. You got to add all those other factors in. The cost of education is not the cost of getting an education. If you get married, y'all show us know the cost of that. And do well. Success or failure has a high cost. And everybody wants to talk about David's success, but what they do not see is that David went through a whole bunch of stuff. And that's what life looks like, and I'm recapping, because I ain't going to be long. Persistence. You know, you see the iceberg, you see the success on the top, but what they don't see beneath that is the persistence, the failure, the sacrifice, the disappointment, the desire, the discipline, the hard work, the dedication. They just think you got where you are on their own. But David had to come from being successful because the Lord decided that David would be successful. Saul was a failure because he left God. Anytime you leave God, you're going to be a mess. And if you want to be successful, there's a cleaning process you have to go through. You got to clean yourself up. God has to clean you up. And there's some sacrifices we have to make. And then the other thing is a lot of folks are concerned because we don't feel like we're adequate. Well, I stop by to tell you, God doesn't call people that He equipped or that look the part. He equips those whom He calls and sets them apart. If God wants to use you, just let Him use you. Don't worry about what you've been, and don't worry about folks. We're going to talk about that a little longer. And then a lot of folks look at you and say, well, I don't know why God would use him. I don't know why God would use her. Well, God knows what He wants in a servant. You don't worry about what other folks. If God has picked you to do something, just do it. And then just because somebody else says that you're not going to be successful does not mean that that's God's plan. We're going to deal with that today. Whenever you start out to try to do something, you're going to always have those folks that want you to fail. You can count on that. And then we talked about our success begins with with God's plans for us, not our plans for God. And then what we talked about was the first lesson, the first cost is learning to be a servant. If you're ever going to be successful, David was a shepherd. That's not a good job. That's not a famous job. It's not a glamorous job, but he did it well. Then he went to serve Saul, who was the king that he would replace, and it got to the point that Saul hated him, but he loved Saul. You got to learn to be a servant. The way up is to bow down. Waiting on time and waiting and serving people for a lifetime is a part of the cost of being successful. And Jesus said, even in the church, if you want to be the greatest in the kingdom, learn to serve folk. Learn to serve folk. You have to learn to do the little things well. You know, if you can't handle little stuff, how are you going to handle big stuff? You got to learn to do. And then we also learn that humility. You're going to learn humility one way or another. Because you're going to, you know, if you humble yourself, God will lift you up. But if you raise yourself up, God will humble you. The second cost, now that's where we are today. The second cost is disdain by other folks. If you ever want to be successful, if you ever get to be successful, you watch how folks deal with you. You watch how folks treat you. You know, when you start being successful, watch what happens in your life. You learn to be a servant, but here's what we have. David now, we talked today, David has now served Saul, and now in 1 Samuel 17, there's a battle going on. Let me just recap. There's a battle going on. David's still that little shepherd boy. He has been to work with Saul, but then he would go back and forward between being a shepherd and serving Saul. Well, while he was at home, the Israelites were fighting the Philistines. And every day, this battle had been going on, and every day, Goliath would come out, and he would challenge the children of Israel, and Goliath was a big man. Now, don't get this twisted. When they say he was a giant, let me put this in perspective for you. Goliath is not a giant by our standards. Goliath was about 6'9". Now, that's a tall man. But here's the problem. The average Israelite, a man, was about 5'1". That's a whole lot of difference in it. That'd be like Ferris dating Shaq. So when you look at the difference, Goliath was really a giant to them. And so he would come out and challenge them, and every day he would challenge them, and every day the men of Israel would fall back because he was so big, and they were afraid of him. And so David's father hears about the battle, and this went on for 40 days. So what's the significance of it going on 40 days? You need to be aware. You need to be aware that 40 days is a time of testing. How many days did it rain? 40 days. How many days was Jesus in the wilderness? 40 days. So it was a time of testing. And what they soon discovered was that Goliath was so big and bad that whenever he came out, he started to make fun of him. Whenever you run from your problem, life begins to make fun of you. And folk begin to make fun of you. So David's 3 brothers were on the battlefield, and his father got concerned about him. And so he said, David, take some stuff with you. Take some bread, take some wine, and take some stuff. And not only take enough for you, but take some for the other soldiers. And so he gets there. When David gets to the battle scene, he left his supplies with the keepers of supplies at the army, and he runs straight to the front of the battle to see what was going on. Just as he got there, Goliath is challenging Israel. And Israel is falling back. Now David has a problem with this. David has a problem with it. So David hears and sees all this. And so David begins to talk with some folk and said, now what's going to be done for the man who defeats Goliath? And he's told he'll get to marry one of the king's daughters, and he'll be exempt from taxes. Anybody that can kill Goliath gets to marry the king's daughter, and they don't have to pay taxes. Now, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. You picked the one you want. So we pick up in 1 Samuel 28. But when David's oldest brother Eliab heard David talking to the men, he was angry. What are you doing around here anyway? He demanded. What about those few sheep you're supposed to be taking care of? You see how his brother is ridiculing him and talking down to him? You know, you could be going to your job, and it may not be the most glamorous job in the world, but you got a job. You may be working somewhere on the custodial staff, and some folk are going to talk down to you, but what you got to understand is, I'm doing my job. Amen. Doesn't matter what my job is, I'm doing my job. Don't miss this, don't miss this, don't miss this, Elliot. At least David was doing his job. Right. His brother was on the battlefield running. Have you ever seen folks, you doing your job and they want to ridicule you? But he was doing his job. And then he goes on and he begins to talk about David. I know about your pride and deceit. You just want to see the battle. And now David replies, what have I done? I was only asking a question. Have you ever felt like folk just jump on you for no reason? Well, I'm going to tell you, I believe, now this is pain, this ain't Bible. I believe Eliab was mad because God chose David to be king. He was still upset because this little boy, this little whippersnapper is going to be what I want to be. Instead of supporting David, see what I've learned is if you can't be that, support who it is and maybe they'll help you along. Right. Maybe they'll pick you up. Maybe they'll carry you along with them instead of hating. And a lot of sometimes what you want, you can't handle anyway. So Eliab is upset with David. What do you do? David was just doing what his dad. I don't know why we're surprised when those close to us become jealous of us. If Jesus had to go through the same thing, what makes us think we'll be exempt? What makes us think we won't have to go through stuff? And the problem with Eliab is he wasn't living up his name. Eliab's name meant God is my father. But he was acting like anything but a child of God. When folk go to act in the fool, that's the problem when you're supposed to be a child of God and you go to act in the fool. Folk can't tell who you are. They can't tell the difference. And so when you're on the road to success, those closest to you can become your greatest opposition. And that's a high cost to pay, to have your family and friends start to disdain you and disrespect you and discredit you and disregard you. Look at how he ridicules David. What are you doing here anyway? He demanded, what about those few sheep you're supposed to be taking care of? Isn't that something? David is doing what his daddy asked him to do, and his brother's upset about you. So I'm not surprised. Don't be surprised when you start to succeed and folks start to hate on you. As we said earlier, I told you I wasn't going to be long this morning. I don't know why we are surprised. I said this earlier. When those close to us become jealous of us, and Jesus had to go through the same thing. The next Sabbath, he began teaching in the Sabbath. And many who heard him were amazed. And they asked, where did he get all this wisdom and the power to perform such miracles? Have you ever heard the statement that familiarity breeds contempt? When folk know you, and they've known you all your life, and you start to excel, first thing they go, who does he think he is? Who does she think he is? I know his mama, I know his daddy, and I ain't none of them got nothing. Anybody heard that? Anybody been ridiculed just because your name happens to be a certain name? You can't help who you born to. But folk will pick on you just because of the family you're born into. But I stopped by to tell you, I just thank God I was born. Yeah, I would have liked to have been Bill Gates' child, but I ain't kicking Rossi. Now watch what they say. Who does he think he is? They scoff. He's just a carpenter. The son, that's a good lesson. If Jesus had a job, every man ought to have a job. That's another sermon. The man of Mary, the son of Mary, and the brother James and Joseph, and Judas and Simon, and all the sisters lived right here among us. They were deeply offended, and they refused to believe in it. You know, when you start doing something, when you start excelling, expect folk to hate on you. You might as well expect it. That's one of the reasons when Corey or Kendall want me to come or do something, well, I'm glad to go. You know why? Because I couldn't do it, but they do it. So I'm going to support them doing it. If you can't do it, support the one that's doing it. I don't know why we have to hate on folks because we... You know, we sometimes, Elder, we just like dogs chasing the car. If you caught him, you couldn't drive. If folk gave you the position they were in, you couldn't handle it. So why are you hating on them? I've learned, even among preachers, we hate on preachers. Preachers hate on other preachers. I had a preacher tell me, I'm going to have to start lying on you. They act like ain't nobody do a revival around here but you. Well, what's for you is for you. And when God gets ready for you to start doing it, and maybe that's why you ain't doing it. Because of your attitude, whatever God blesses me with, I'm going to thank God, and I'm not going to get the big head. Right. Amen. I understand who I am. I understand where I come from. I understand I am flawed. I understand I have made a lot of mistakes in my life. And just because God is lifting me up doesn't mean I need to get arrogant now. Amen. You still need to stay humble even when God is blessing you. That's the reason with so many. That's why some folk can't get $2, because if you give more than 2 cents, they lose their mind. You know, somebody need a ride, I'd pick them up, but you know, they don't smell right. They don't live right. I ain't gonna be seen with them. What do you think God looks like being seen with you? You ain't that much. Then Jesus, don't miss this. Then Jesus told them, a prophet is honored everywhere except in his own hometown and among his relatives. Anybody been there? Anybody been there? The folk closest to you are your biggest haters. Anybody here had to deal with haters and agitators in your life? If you've ever been going to be successful in life, you might as well prepare for opposition from near and far. And sadly, the folk that are going to oppose you the most are the folk closest to you. That's the ones that's going to give you, but they are the ones that are hoping we fall and fail in life. But what you do is when you fall or fail, get up, keep on going. Don't worry about it. You know the best way to get revenge is to be successful when folks say you're going to fail. I give God all the glory. I give God all the glory, and I'm going to tell you why. All these years I've been here, I've made some mistakes. I'm the first one to tell you, I've made some mistakes in my life. And there were folk that before I made mistakes said, we're going to make sure you fail. But guess what? Thank you, Doc. God has blessed me in spite of me. God has blessed me in spite of them. So I'm stopping by to tell you, God doesn't expect you to be perfect. He just expects you to be submissive. Humble yourself to him. Anybody here that has not messed up in life, you excused at this point of the message. That's what I thought. Buy a new car and see how folk hate on it. Buy a house, see how folk hate on it. Get a promotion on your job, see how folk hate on it. I can make it simpler than that. Buy a new dress, see how they hate on it. She thinks she look good. No, you think she look good, otherwise you wouldn't see it. Yeah. Look at it. Look at the guy on that suit. That don't even match. Why you gotta hate? That's right. But if you're gonna be successful, you gotta deal with haters. Because haters, and see the thing about haters, they ain't doing nothing. I was sitting in the football, that's all they're doing is hate. Sitting on the side, laying down, drinking haterade. I was sitting in the, I've told this story before, but I was sitting in the football stands there in Mount Pleasant, and this guy behind me, you know, we were sitting up pretty high, watching the game, and this guy behind me was complaining about the kids. Man, if he had just cut this way, he could have got 10 more yards. If he had cut that way, he could. You see how he missed that tackle? And my wife could see my facial expression change. And she was grabbing my arm. And finally, I just turned around and said, sir, I don't mean it harm, but have you ever played football at any level? No, I haven't. I said, I can tell you. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you play football, you can see a whole lot up here, but you can't see down there. When you're a running back, you don't see that big old hole. See, that's the thing. Spectators can always, that's one of the things that bothers me at work, and we're doing better at it. If a guy makes a mistake at work, we used to sit down and analyze the charts and analyze this, and a week later come back and say, well, if you had done this, you would have done it right, and you would have messed that up. Well, my goodness, you had a week to look at it. I had 5 seconds to make a decision. Let me say this. When you do well, watch how folk hate them, and watch how folk will rejoice. I told you they wasn't going to do it. I knew wasn't nothing to them. But here's what you do. Don't even, folk ask me, bro, hey, so-and-so said so-and-so, and did they say it to you? And even if they said it to you, what does it matter? Have they bought you any groceries? Have they paid any bills? Did they wake you up this morning? Did they start you on your way? Did they put food on your table? Did they make up your bed? So why are you worried about it? Conversation is cheap. Conversation, as long as you live, and I don't care how well you live, somebody's going to talk about you. Somebody's going to talk about you. So, you know, I look at it this way now. I look at it this way. Whether it's good or whether it's bad, I'm just glad I'm important enough for folks to talk about it. Because I've learned if I'm ever going to be successful, I've got to be a servant. I got to continue serving people. Deacon Duffy does a good job of keeping the deacons do a good job of keeping this facility clean and keeping the yard cut. But guess what? If every one of them got sick and couldn't do it, you know what your preachers be doing? I'd be up here vacuuming and cutting the yard. You know why? Because that's what's got to be done. Some of us get above ourselves. Well, I ain't going to do that. It'll be crazy. I go home, Sister Payne is sick. Well, that's your job. You supposed to cook. But Negro, don't you eat? If you can eat, you can cook. So Bishop say, some folks say, we were talking about breakfast. Bishop say, some folks can throw down. When I cook, they throw out. But what I'm saying is, learn to do whatever you do and expect folk not to appreciate what you do. The folk you do the most for are the folk that will appreciate you the least. David took food and wine to his brothers to see about it. And guess what? One of them hated on him. Jesus was hated on. I've talked to you long enough. If Jesus was hated on, and he was the most successful man that ever lived, then we need to follow Jesus. I don't care what you say, follow Jesus. Follow Jesus. I don't care what happens. If you preach and mess up, follow Jesus. Don't quit Jesus just because somebody else messed up. That's, you know, I'm not crazy enough. I'm not crazy enough to quit my job just because somebody made me mad. Huh? Now you don't get that crazy. I'm gonna show them. I'm not getting on the welfare when I can fare well. And I'm not saying fare well when I'm faring well. You gotta understand, this is for you. But Jesus was different. He died. He died for me, he died for you. That we might have a right to the tree of life. He gave his best for us. God gave his best. We need to believe in that with all of our hearts. You need to believe, you need to confess that he is the Son of God. You need to change your mind about the way you're living. And I want to tell you something about repentance right now. Because see, what happens is, folks say, well, you didn't truly repent. Repentance is a change of mind. I changed my mind about what I was doing. Now, it may take a while for me to change my actions. Don't miss this. It may take a while for me to change my actions, but changing my mind is the first step. So when you change your mind, don't expect to stop right now, but be working on it. See, that's where a lot of folks fall short, because we tell them, well, if you don't repent right now, you didn't repent. But let me tell you something. How many of us are you fat like me? You had to learn. It took me 63 years to learn how to overeat. And then you want me to stop in 60 seconds, stop over. It is a process. Whatever you learn Don't let church folk get like. And you know what I tell folk? I tell folk all the time now. They're going to give me. I tell you. You know, Brother Payne, Sister so-and-so, I said, well, you know what, you just expect Sister so-and-so to be just as holy as you are.
That's right.
And if you look at yourself, you'll stop running other folk down. Huh? Because a lot of us wasn't so slick. Folk just didn't discuss it. They know what you did. And then you want to get it back like you so holy. Well, you know, I'm always. You have always. I don't see how someone could do that. And you just left a no-tell motel yourself. And you were there reading the Bible in the drawer. Stop hating on people. It takes time, and I'm not saying weakness. I'm not saying just continue to sin. But what I'm saying is work on stopping that sin. Every day, work on that a little bit more. Bishop did a good job in Sunday school. Stay in your Bible. It'll help you to get away from that. What I've learned to do is instead of getting a bag of chips, I keep a bunch of cucumbers in the refrigerator now. And when I want some chips, I try to get me a cucumber, put a little vinegar on it, a little salt, and I know that salt ain't good, but the Bible says salt is good. And I'm gonna tell you something about that, D. I do a lot of reading at work. They're saying now that the salt things may be wrong. It depends on the individual. Some folk can tolerate salt more than Sister Payne. I'm gonna tell you, and I gotta go. I'm gonna tell you that Sister Payne, I always stay away when I say, you don't eat enough salt. Yeah, but you eat too much salt. A few months ago, she went to the doctor. The doctor said, I'm very concerned about your potassium level. You are not getting enough salt. If you don't, we're gonna have some problems. I said, She said, don't tell that me in front of anybody. I don't believe Jesus. Jesus says salt. Then you go down to water graves of baptism, become a Christian, nothing more, nothing less. Then you live as faithfully as you can and continue that process of repentance. And remember what your preacher told you, repentance is a change of mind. Once you change your mind, your actions will follow. The reason you cannot, you got to repent first because you got to change your mind about something. If you don't ever change your mind about it, you'll never stop. But just because you fall back every now and then, keep on going. Don't quit. Keep on. That's what Satan wants you to do. He wants you to quit because you're not perfect, but you're serving a perfect Jesus. And as y'all get ready to stand, leave here saying, I ain't worried about no haters. If you can't help me, don't try to stop me. And nothing from nothing. So if you ain't putting nothing in my life, don't bring me. If you can't give me a compliment, all you can do is give me, find fault with me. I told you before, a wrong clock, a dead clock is right 2 times a day. You ain't always wrong. Somebody, you ever been in a relationship where you always the one wrong? Well, you better get out of it. Come on, give your life to Jesus as we together stand and sing the song of invitation.